Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. Adil, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are
Oh,
you?
yeah, good, thanks. Busy week, busy week. All the way
We
here
can
in
see it.
Manchester. Not to
That's why
watch
you're
United,
glowing.
not to watch
That's why you're
United,
glowing. I
not
know why
to
you're
watch,
glowing.
not to watch United. Um, United is, yeah, since we're talking. Um, what did you make of their performance against Southampton? I mean, brilliant by Southampton, you'd say, winning against Tottenham well, last week, and then obviously now against United, two big away performances.
Yeah, the big thing was they put a lot of energy and they overpowered Spurs in the last 10 minutes and they had 24 hours less rest
Yeah,
than United team. And they still came out and had the energy to put another big effort in. You gotta love the way Southampton played. They're brave, aggressive, in your face, really physical. Actually, that was the side where surprised me. Quite cynical, a lot of tactical fouling. So they're gaining that experience, and that we saw last year was a bit of a Achilles heel. Was they were quite a naive team,
mm.
and now you can just tell they kind of, especially with Aurelio just leading it, they just really know how to do tactical fouls. If they're not winning the ball, they go in quite hard. They're quite physical. They did the same thing against Tottenham. So, really surprised with how aggressive they are. And the biggest thing was, they play football. They play good football. They play fast counter-attacking
They're
football.
brave. Even when
Um,
United press them, they're brave on the ball in terms of keeping that ball and then beating that press and going through.
yeah, and the worst thing for United fans is this is one of Ralph Ragnick's proteges, and you see Southampton do everything that we that
You would
all
expect
nine nine
United to do.
fans. Yeah, the high energy, aggressive, high press, fast-paced football, transitions, overloads. Southampton were the team who did it, and it wasn't United. And you have to give lots of credit to Southampton's, the scouting department, the director, because last year they didn't do a good job in supporting Hasenhüttl with signings. They cleared out a lot of players, and this year they've really done well in picking up some of the best players from these top academies. From Chelsea, from Everton, from other places, and really some smart signings from France, like Perraud. It was quite
It looks
highly rated
it looks good
left back.
as a left back.
He
Yeah.
was on the cusp of the international team. So, really, really good scouting, really good play. Salisu was highly rated even last year. He didn't get to play, but Layanko. They're all players that were other, the top four teams in those leagues were looking at signing. So, the really clever recruitment, and the biggest and the money they spent the most on at Adam Armstrong is struggling to get even minutes off the bench because the signings and the backups have so much talent
No,
that they've
I,
taken
I
it.
mean, I'm strong started the last two games, Adu, and it's been decent for them.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's only because they're playing loads of games. I don't think it's their start. The starting combination is
I mean,
Broja and
I mean,
Che Adams.
you got what's his name, Nathan Redmond, etc. out. That's why I think obviously he's also come in. But yeah,
When you look at his best team when everyone's available, it's Adam Armstrong is in it,
mm.
and that's the thing. Is Broja, I think it has really showed everyone how good he really is. He's got everything. He's physical. He can link the play up. He's got a skill. He can run past you.
He can go
He
past you. Yeah,
stretches the play. He's actually a real complete striker, and yeah,
he's really put himself out there, isn't he? I mean, especially with even with Chelsea. Chelsea must be like
I mean, when a youngster makes an experienced England vice captain, Man United captain, chase shadows. I mean that one where he literally,
Oh, did
I don't know,
are you
his
talking about
tackling
that no? Are
like
you talking about that no look breakdowns?
no look. But even before that, I mean, Brojo was just had Maguire on toast, and yeah, it's just it's really frustrating to watch because one of the things that no one really picked up on, but while I was watching the match was Ragnick came with this big fanfare of his 4-2-2-2 system. And then he quickly scrapped it because they looked terrible and they're getting overrun and they were really struggling to play cohesive football. And now he's gone to this 4-2-3-1 system. They look a lot better, a lot more balanced at least. But no one picked up on the fact that Hasselhüttl was playing the 4-2-2-2 system that Ragnick, created
Couldn't make it work. Yeah.
and they looked excellent with it. They looked balanced with it. They controlled lots of that second half, and really, if they took their chances, they had some good opportunities. The Broja chance, you'd expect him to do better. There was always a man free at the back post for Sweaty, but they went for the shot. So really, they could have taken the win really away from home. But take nothing away. United had chances too. It's not like United didn't have chances.
I mean, they took the lead with Sancho. Great counter-attacking goal, but didn't really kick on from there. I mean, after that,
well, the thing is, they wasted the opportunities after that. Like the chance where I don't know how Sancho does not square the ball. You got two players free on the back post, Ronaldo and Rashford, and it's 3 against 1. Just pass. You don't need to beat the man. You don't need to. You just square it to the spare man. That's 2-0, game over. So in that first half, United were able to suck Southampton in and create a few counter-attacking opportunities, and really the decision making just wasn't good enough. And this is where this United team is. I think they've played 9 league games, 1-5 or 10, 1-5, drawn 4, lost 1. It's not terrible, but the thing is, those 4, I think 3 of them they had the lead in, or maybe all 4 of them they had the lead in, but definitely 3 of them. Aston Villa 2-0 up, Burnley 1-0 up, here 1-0 up, and they keep conceding. But their second half performances are terrible. It's all they're struggling for energy. They put so much into their first half, and then and you see it every time they come out onto the pitch. They're a team that thinks they're better than they really are. So then when they take the lead, they think the game's done. They've done it, and it just shows how weak the mentality of the players are, how much lack of leadership there is. You always feel like the opposition is going to get a chance. They panic. I mean, you look at Burnley coming back. Maguire, some of the defending he's doing is panic defending. What you're afraid of? You're 1-0 up. And the decisions the players are making, I don't know why, for some reason, they start pressing at ridiculous times. When they're already unbalanced, they'll continue to press. So there's a real lack of intelligence, but
I don't know if you saw, there was a lot of time like the Southampton, like the number 10s they were playing, they almost picked up that ball behind Pogba and McTominay, and none of them actually realized. And it was just amazing to see how easily they got through that.
Yeah, but if you know that the opposition's playing like a 4-2-2 formation with two attacking 10s instead of wide players, then the whole point of that is to stretch the 2 defensive mids.
Yeah.
And to pick up in the pockets of the defensive mids. So, what you really need is the fullbacks to come in narrow and pick them up. Who are they marking the whole game? and it's not like Perraud and Walker Peters were pushing up that much. They're dribbling up. And yeah, there's a problem around the attitude of, the front four because they never track back.
Yeah.
You look at no one's calls it out, but the equalizer, the effort from Rashford is a complete joke. Why is he looking to pick up Salisu? His man is the wing back.
Yeah, Perraud, yeah.
One ball and he's all the way into the own half, picks the ball into the 10 position. It's just too easy. You got Fernandes pressing, you got Ronaldo, Sancho, and Rashford daydreaming. One ball to the left wing back. You got Pogba picking up, I think it's Ward-Prowse or Remy, one of the midfielders. So all of a sudden, McTominay, instead of shifting across and picking up, it wasn't Armstrong, who was the other?
Elyounoussi. Elyounoussi.
Yeah, Elyounoussi. At that moment in time, he shouldn't be worrying about Armstrong because you still have this is the thing, and it just shows you how much lack of intelligence the players have. Is if there is no wingers and they're playing with 10s, then Shaw doesn't have anyone to pick up. So if he comes in narrow, Armstrong is still his man.
Yeah.
So McTominay should have left his spot and moved across. Instead, he stays marking nobody in the center of the pitch. And now you got Varane, who's facing the wrong angle, coming out. It's such an easy goal. It's so poor. It's unbelievable.
Good finish though from good finish from Che Adams.
Yeah, but excellent finish. Anything in off the post you can't beat, and everyone's going about should have gone with his hands.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. They were saying about going with his legs.
That was a great finish. But again, no one says anything about Rashford's lack of effort.
I mean, the Rashford, Sancho, but both of them, their defensive effort
Fernandes, Ronaldo, you're 1-0 up. Why are you acting like the game is done?
Yeah,
there is an attitude problem there. Then you got Maguire, just like as soon as the team's in the lead, he just panics. I never thought I'd say it, but I think it's time to bring Lindelof back and drop Maguire.
But do you think what's the issue with Maguire at the moment? I mean, because he's clearly can't find that form. It seems like he's really struggling. Is it just due to confidence, or what is it? Or he's just not fit enough?
Obviously, it is confidence, but he's struggling to. What he's struggling to do is decide whether he wants to go in tight on a man or whether he wants to sweep. And so what happens is he keeps like trying to play this invisible offside, and then when the ball is being played to feet, then he's trying to suddenly rush out. So it's obvious that him and Varane are on the same wavelength. Because Varane is going tight, following his striker, and then what happens is Maguire wants to take a yard off and sit it off because he's trying to sweep for Varane because Varane is going so tight onto his man. So what happens is he gets stuck in both positions. But again, same old issues. Against Burnley, it's Shaw keeping the attack on side. Yesterday again, Shaw keeping the attack on side. Like this, these were problems Shaw had for the last 2 years, where he's always standing, daydreaming behind Maguire. Even the other day, we had the comical goal where he ended up being against Liverpool, where he ended up being left 1 against 3. I don't understand. You're England international. How can you not understand the offside system? How can you not understand a fullback should never be yards behind the centre back?
The centre back, yeah, definitely. But add a quick one in terms of you got the 2 centre backs. Is this a problem that the manager should look into and sort out, or should it be sorted out between them two, Varane and Maguire? What to do in terms of do they press up? Do they stay? Or does manager really? I mean, you're a manager. What would you do in this situation? Would you let the players
I would
sort it out?
drop Maguire because the fact is he doesn't understand what he's doing. And if you look at the goals and the way he's getting dominated by the opposition, it's not just the goals we're conceding. In general, play he looks all over the place. He's not bringing much to it. And when we started to go a bit more around, Lindelof and Varane, and we looked a lot more stable then. We looked a lot more, like they knew what they were doing as a partnership. So I think in the short term, you got to drop Maguire. I don't know why Shaw suddenly become favoured again when Teller's been playing well. I know he was injured for the Burnley games, but he was fully fit for this one. Shaw cost you the goal against Burnley, but easily done. But the whole attack is offside if Shaw isn't yards behind everyone. Again, Che Adams is offside if Shaw isn't yards behind everyone. You're doing nothing. You're not even picking up a player. I don't understand how you can be daydreaming them and having no focus or purpose to your job at that moment in time. So, yeah, what United saw and the fans saw was what they should have got in Southampton. The hope was Rangnick was going to bring this system, high press, high energy, in your face.
So let me ask this question: Are the players not buying it, as in they're not willing to do it, or is this a issue with Rangnick? So is the player the issue, or the coach is the issue? Because obviously you had Mourinho come in, you had after that you had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, now you got Rangnick. It seems like it's the same players, but
I think it's too easy to say it's one or the. I mean, don't get me wrong, I believe it's players more, but above that, I think it's the structure above the players even. Because the thing is, the culture of the players' management company, the players' agents running and controlling everything at the club, every decision is being made, asking, agents, and this whole buttering up to agents and management companies, and everything being about image and marketing. That is the real problem, because these players now are more interested in public image than they are performing on the pitch. And if what happens every time there's a public criticism of Rashford, he'll come out with how much he wants to stay at the club for, but just put effort in on the pitch. Yeah, it's not hard to realize the system that they play in a wing-back system. You don't need three guys pressing the three centre-backs.
Yeah.
When you're overloaded in midfield 4 against 2. Someone has to help out the two midfielders. So I just think you don't need 4 players to press 3 centre-backs. It's common sense. And yeah, the problem is deeper than just the players. I think it's primarily the players, but the structure above them is totally wrong. They're focused on the wrong things. And that's what's made these players so powerful, to the point where, they're putting all these leaks and never pulling it out.
They're putting out messages about who they want as their next manager. So
it's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. Yeah, and who are they asked for? Pochettino. Why? Because he's a player's manager. He's a player's manager.
But how big of a blow is this? Because this is 2 games someone of United's caliber, you would expect them to win against Burnley, who's bottom of the table, and then you got Southampton. I know Southampton's in good form, but how big of a blow is this for them getting top 4?
It's not as big as it should have been, because everyone else is dropping points, and it kind of all depends on how well Arsenal do with their games in hand. If they win both of them, then it's a big blow. But ultimately, Spurs have lost 2 of the two games.
2 games, yeah.
West Ham have drawn their last one. No one's looking that confident.
At all.
Arsenal's kind of scraped their last one. So I think, yeah, it should be a big blow, but it isn't. And it might come back to haunt them when they play the big teams.
Mm.
because everyone knew when Ragnick came in, United had like a 13-game stretch of really good winnable fixtures against teams you'd expect them to win, and the fact
Yeah.
that they're not and they're drawing 4, it just gives everyone else a chance. But again, no one seems to want to get their
It's
house in order.
it's there, isn't it? It's there for someone to take charge of that place. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah,
Is that in terms of the other top four contenders, Tottenham, another loss against Wolves, who's climbing the table like rapidly.
Wolves are getting getting the fans are getting,
Very
thinking of the
excited.
Champions League. They're starting to dream.
But one thing I have to say, I mean, that game, I mean, obviously you come from losing to Southampton in the last, I don't know, 10 minutes or stuff. You must be fired up. And then the way they started, I mean, Hugo Lloris and them defenders, I mean,
But
what on earth?
I think that's a game where the players were still shocked by the starting lineup. And you can see they didn't know what to do, how to play it. And Conte is trying to change the mentality of the players. He was upset with the mentality of some of his, more regular players. We saw against Southampton, Emerson Royal got absolutely ripped.
Yeah.
They exposed that space and they're kind of singling him out. Regulon was getting singled out on the other side. And then Højbjerg wasn't very responsible. Is pushing forward and getting it, maybe because it's his old club, he's a bit too wasn't as disciplined. So the thing is, they all got dropped, and then you're playing. And this is the thing. I think Conte just tactically got it wrong the last 2 games. They sat off against Southampton, and then Southampton is a team you want to sit off against because they're in your face, they play quick pace football, they suffocate you, and they got the equalizer winner. Against Wolves, I think they fell for the trap of thinking this is a team that struggles to score goals. So let's overload, let's go with the ultra attacking lineup. So they get Bentancur in, they go with Sessegnon, they go with Doherty, were the more attacking wing backs. And I think it backfired because because Wolves are the team that are most comfortable playing counter-attacking football.
Yeah.
Maybe outside of Liverpool, they're the team that love breaking quick and exposing.
That's what they live for, isn't it?
But the thing was, so as soon as I saw the lineup, I predicted Tottenham were going to lose. As soon as I saw that lineup, because I could see what happened. They've fallen for the trap of thinking this Wolves team can't score goals. They struggle to create. They create chances. They just don't have a finisher to put them away. Yeah. But when you see when they are dangerous is when the game gets stretched. That's when they really create the chances. They struggle to create it when a team sits off them. So I had a feeling looking at the lineup that.
But I mean,
they got too heavy.
The first goal was kind of, you can say, gifted at you.
But that was the thing when we're watching it. What surprised me was Wolves didn't need to play on the counter because Spurs were so poor at playing the ball out and passing and trying to. The high press of Wolves was working, and they're just picking them off and winning the ball in midfield. And the pressing of Wolves was excellent. And they completely exposed, and that's why Sessegnon got taken off after 25 minutes, because what they did, they were going in tight. The opposite wing back was going in. Semedo was going in so tight on Sessegnon that they had no out ball.
Okay, But played a dangerous game as well, isn't it? Taking a chance. I mean, leaving a 3-on-3 at the back with like Son.
That's the biggest thing is how many teams do that? How many teams do that? Like leave 3-on-3, but they just couldn't get the ball. They couldn't get because the thing is the 3 is so narrow now. Moura and it's like the Chelsea system, 2 10s and a striker.
Yeah.
So, you know, Wolves deserved the win. They were a braver team, and Spurs were just really dysfunctional. Really struggled. Surprising.
I mean,
but I would, if I was a Spurs fan, I wouldn't worry too much about it. That could happen to anyone. You can get things wrong. You can make mistakes. I think Conte will learn from that. Because he's trying to change the mentality of the players.
Do you think he kind of overdone it? Do you think he overdone it?
Yeah, obviously. He overdone it. He dropped players who was annoyed with their attitude or their mentality, but then it wasn't the right game to do it, because Wolves aren't that type of team. You want to open up and let them kind of play on the counter or press you so high without having players comfortable on the ball.
But I mean,
you can see Spurs players were confused in it, the way they were passing, playing out.
I mean, they got some hard fixtures coming up. They got, City away next, Spurs. So it seems like it's getting really difficult for them now, because they had the run of like the good fixtures, and now the tricky fixtures are coming in. So what do you think that result will do for them for the top four? Obviously City next. If they lose that, then all of a sudden that's 3 on the bounce.
Yeah, it's not. I think all of them are going to drop points. I still think they're the strongest out of all of them. I still think Spurs will get it.
Spurs will get top
because
four.
Conte will fix it. That's what I think. They'll get it. Everyone's going to drop points.
Definitely. Some big games coming up. Let's look at Liverpool. 1-0 away win at Burnley. Burnley been doing really well recently, performing well. But good win. Keeping the pressure on Man City.
Burnley had the chances. While it was 0-0, Burnley had Weghorst had about 2 or 3 real good chances. There's another good chance Alisson done a save from.
Do you know what was surprising? It showed stat where I think Alisson saved more shots than Pope and stuff, and I was like, what? that was shocking.
But that's the thing with the Liverpool is with their front three, they're always a threat.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even the front three. He ended up being Fabinho.
Yeah, and the other thing is they have a lot of grit. The midfield they had all put themselves about. It was a battle. No one hit. Matip was solid again. And they've got players who are willing to put a shift in and work hard for the team. And that's the thing. They can win in all stars, and they're very efficient. That's the thing with Liverpool is their style is very efficient. I remember reading in their main pre-season was about was focused on becoming more clinical, because Klopp felt last season that they wasted too many good opportunities, and you can see whatever work they've done in that pre-season, you can see it this year, because it always feels like Liverpool could be 1 or 2 goals down, but the first chance they get, they punish and they score.
Yeah.
But before that, they've given away a couple of with Liverpool this year. So I just think, shows their character as a team, and it.
Yeah.
They're battling and they got a result. And Fabinho's got 5 goals in 7 games.
Yeah, he's on fire. He's on streak. They had Salah gone to African Cup of Nations, but they had a new Salah in Fabinho.
And no one was expecting him to carry the team in their absence, but it just shows mentality in it. That's why you call leaders.
But they stepped up, right? They stepped up. They had their big players missing, and they stepped up. It's not like they set off and lost games or anything. They set up to the occasion.
And the thing was, you didn't hear them whinging and moaning. They just got on with it.
Yeah.
And they still played attacking. They still took the game to the opposition. So they never changed their tactics. They trusted the players. Really gritty, good performance. And then second half they played a bit more smarter, which was the thing we've been saying is they struggled to hold on to lead.
Yeah.
Second half they did not attack as they played on the counter attack basically, which
But they did
haven't
have
done.
chances. They did have quite a few
Yeah.
chances, but it's just they
Why
didn't.
and why? Because they actually went back to that old school counter-attacking approach that won them the Champions League a few years back. So
After
they
going
sat
one up,
they
yeah.
defended, yeah, and that ridiculous high line wasn't really there, which caused them problems in the first half.
Mm, mm. I mean, in terms of Burnley and Weghurst, what do you make of his signing? I mean, obviously he's in to replace Chris Wood. Do you think he's got what it takes to get the goals the Burnley need to stay up?
Yeah, I have to say Burnley, I think when they changed the owner, they changed the scouting structure and they brought a new like team in and they know what they're doing. I mean, the players they're going for. I mean, and even other players that they didn't manage to get. I think they had a deal for Orsic, another very good player. So they're going for good players. They know, so I think they know the market well. And Weghorst is a prolific striker. In Holland and in Germany, he scored a goal every 2 games.
Yeah.
So he's got goals in him. He's an unselfish striker, works hard, will get his fair share of assists. And he gave the Liverpool backline trouble because, 2 or 3 times he was through and he done a bit of a brochure in trying to dink a finish. He should have really put that one away or squared it or done something better. But yeah, I think he'll have chances. Whether he can put them away is the difference because he's used to kind of dominating defenders and being a bit more physical. But you can see it's not as easy in the Prem because obviously the refs are a lot more lenient. They allow defenders to get away with a bit more. But he's looked good. I think he's looked really promising.
Good signs for Burnley, really. Do you think they'll stay up?
And ultimately, no. They've played well kind of the whole season.
Yeah.
If you're not getting wins while you're playing well, then eventually your confidence will go. Eventually, the pressure of the situation will make you more desperate. And I just think, maybe if they can get Ashley Barnes back, they need someone who's
back,
proven goal scorer. That might give them the lift that they need, but they'll keep fighting to the end.
He's just come back from injury, so
they won't make it easy.
Yeah. But I mean, it just feels like they left themselves too much to do. That's what it feels like. I know they got a few games in hand and stuff, but once the other teams start picking up points, and it just seems harder and harder for you, and mentally, it could be draining.
Yeah, and I just don't think they got enough goals in them to see them. Like they need a talisman basically if they are to get out.
They need someone to score in the next one. I think they got 9 at a 17 games. They need someone to score 10 goals, I think. Striker.
Yeah, then they might have a chance.
But... Yeah. Hard road ahead. Let's move on to Leicester versus West Ham. Good game to watch. But again, good comeback from West Ham and Leicester bottling again. Again, it seems like another lead.
Yeah. So I mean, West Ham were quite comfortable in that game, and they took the lead. They're doing all right, but then that penalty kind of gave Leicester the belief that they needed because the attack looked a bit dead and lacking in any creativity really, and they couldn't really create much. But that penalty just gave them a lift. Second half they started great. Barnes was really causing problems, and they were overloading that side. Dewsbury Hall was just feeding Barnes and Tielemans was feeding Barnes, and you can see tactically they found the matchup that they needed.
Yeah.
Took the lead, and then they dropped deep. They dropped deep, and they let
West Ham get.
what I've noticed about West Ham is they really do like it when teams let them get a bit of a momentum and a tempo going. But when you go pressing them, then even though they can do the odd fast break, they don't have enough pace to make it work.
Yeah.
Or to make those get enough players close enough to Antonio. So then what happens is the one-touch football isn't that great. So they're a team that if you let them build momentum, take 3-4 touches, they'll really start suffocating you, because they'll start position the midfield. Rice and everyone will start winning the second ball, and it'll be constant pressure. So yeah, you could see it coming. You could see it coming. I don't know what to make of that decision. That was a handball. Now they're talking about the sleeves. It's getting comical, because you've got.
Well,
that was
the rule change that happened. Basically, they said if it comes on, I mean, they need to clarify whether
when you look at it, it's touching both
parts. Yeah, so that's the grey area,
the
isn't it? That's what they need to clarify. Whether
I don't see that as a grey area, because when you look at the milliliters that they cancel goals for when it comes to offside, then the size of half that ball is more than the size that they give leniency for VAR.
Yeah.
For the offside.
Offside, yeah.
So it's a handball. If it touches on the edge of the sleeve, half the ball is touching the hand, half the ball is on the sleeve. It's a handball then. If you can't have used this rule of milliliters to judge offsides, but when it comes to the handball sleeve line, you're going to allow that much subjectivity. So it shouldn't have stood, in my personal opinion. It shouldn't have. It looked like you can see it. It's coming off his triceps.
But this is the thing. They've left too much down to this subjectivity instead of just being clear and concise.
I don't think it's got anything to do with subjectivity. It's just to do with whatever the referee on the day
or the VAR assistant wants. Yeah.
I don't think I think it's damaging the integrity of the competition. You can't have it based on because at the end of the day, another referee will call that a handball. Yeah. You can't have the same incident and two different rules for it, based on the so it's getting ridiculous. But yeah,
that's how it's been. The whole season's been like that, where decisions just like stupid decisions been taken.
And Leicester are not doing anything to help themselves when it comes to the issues around defending set pieces. It's a joke. All you see them, they had front post covered, back post covered, every player in the box. Yet not one of them is
challenging,
active when the ball is being. They're all static. And if you look at, I remember Sky Sports News, someone showing the whole range of so many different types of corners that they've conceded, short one. But there's one constant in every single one. Guess what? They're all static.
Yeah.
They're all static when the ball is being played.
Is Rodgers doing it like a man marking, man by man, or what is he trying to do?
He's got a zonal system with blockers,
But they're not doing anything. It's just it's more like static system.
Yeah, but if they're static, it doesn't matter what system you do. If you are static,
but you as a manager have to fix that, Adu. Like if this been a constant issue, and and we've even said this previously in our videos, surely he has to fix that. And every team's targeting that.
No, but you could. So what they're doing is they're changing system. They're putting one on the post, two on the post. They're putting extra man in the midfield. Well, they are mixing things around, but they're not fixing the core problem, which is you gotta want to move your legs and move forward and attack the ball. You gotta want to head of that ball.
And this way, they're gonna put the whole back line on the freaking line.
Well, when you look at that goal, it's kind of like that. Where I think the biggest problem was caused there's too many people they're getting in each other's way.
Mm.
How is it Joseph can just jump from after getting a run up and just shoulder it in with his arm?
Yeah, and no one
It's
really
gone over
challenged
how
it.
many heads? Static. Yeah, the one constant is the static.
Mm. Are they in trouble? I mean, do you reckon if it continues, he's gonna get the sack? Because they got Wolves next, another hard fixture.
Well, the fans are definitely still behind the team. It doesn't seem like there's disunity.
Hmm.
It's just a team going on a bad run. It depends. I can see them, fixing their issues and getting, going on a run, and that's keeps him for another year. It'll be harsh. It's more about how he reacts and whether he can give the confidence that he knows how to fix the problems. But you know, they don't. They don't. I wouldn't say they're a team that's completely falling apart.
Let's move on. I mean, Norwich versus Man City, 4-0, another Man City. I mean, win. I mean, they're just keeping it going, aren't they?
Yeah,
Well machined oil. Uh,
the thing was they were quite sloppy. The pressing wasn't as good as it normally is at the start of the game, and it was an end-to-end start. It
yeah,
was an open game. I mean, Norwich had chances, City had chances. It was a really open game until the first goal, and then the belief in the Norwich players just went down. After Sterling scored, they just completely dropped their heads, and it was a shame because up until that point, they were causing City problems and they were giving as good as they got. And obviously, you're always going to see City dominating it a bit better because they've got the better ball players. But Norwich was having a go. Norwich were attacking, Norwich were pressing, they're trying to win the ball back. And it just shows how fragile the team is mentally because the moment Sterling scored, it's like they
it's
start
gone.
off and they just let City dominate the game, which is a shame because you'd think creating chances, winning
Especially
the ball,
against,
nicking the ball a few times,
yeah,
seeing City a bit sloppy, would have given them confidence, even though they conceded. it wasn't. It wasn't all right. You could say Max Allen should have cleared it in the first instance, but after that, it's a great finish from Sterling. Do you get it? So it wasn't a goal, that should have killed their confidence to the level that it did, but
mm.
it did, and they dropped their heads. And then we saw the Man City procession take over.
But what do you make of Sterling?
So great footwork from Foden for
Yeah,
that second goal.
what do you make of Sterling? I mean, hat trick.
I mean,
Is he finding his feet again? Is he getting his confidence back?
you have to give him credit. I mean, at the start of the season, he wasn't getting the minutes
Yeah,
in
he
the
was
game
dropped.
time he
Yeah,
wanted. He was low on confidence. He going away to the Euros with Southgate and being the main man, built his confidence up. And he, whether they played him on the left or the right, he's playing well now. He's still quite greedy, doesn't
that you're still
pass,
gonna get.
but he wants goals. He's got that killer instinct. He's not gonna square the ball. He's gonna try and go for it on his own, and he's in good form. When he plays, he's doing well, much like most of the players in the squad. I don't know. Is there a player in the City squad that's struggling right now?
Yeah,
I don't think
true.
there is.
But don't you think that's
Whoever
quite?
comes in looks sharp.
This is what I mean. That's really good management, wouldn't you say? Because the way he mixes it and he still gets them when they come in, they know they have to perform, or else you're getting dropped again.
Yeah, no De Bruyne this game. I mean,
Yeah,
if De Bruyne was playing, I don't know what the scoreline could have been because he just elevates it to a different level in terms of the way they attack and the intelligence in which they attack. But yeah, like you said, well-oiled machine.
Yep. Let's move on, Adu. Let's talk a bit about the other relegation contenders. Look at Newcastle. Great win against Aston Villa, 1-0. St James's Park was, it was buzzing.
It's buzzing. They had the benefit of the decisions.
Yeah.
The goal that got ruled of VAR. I don't know. I thought the lines were dodgy, because
you're talking about the Watkins, isn't it? Watkins.
Yeah, because they put the line on the Newcastle defender's toe.
Yeah.
But his heel is behind the toe.
Yeah.
So they should have done it to the heel.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're doing it on the tip of the toe of Watkins. So it's like they're not actually putting this in the right way. And I'm not sure. I think that if any of the listening, check out the lines, see if you agree with me. I definitely think they did not put the lines as accurately as it should have done. It's on the tip of Watkins' toe, but then the whole heel is covering
that side, yeah.
Yes, so I just think they should have put it on the heel of the Newcastle defender, not the toes, because the heel was behind. So I don't know.
But aside from that, it seems like Trippier has really taken charge and kind of pushing this Newcastle team forward. And
he's brought that intensity. He flies in, he presses high. I tell you who I thought was for me was the man of the match was Shelby, who was awesome in that game. The tackles he put in, he's covering a lot of the mistakes of Willock, because Willock was kind of pressing and leaving gaps.
Yeah.
And same with Joe Linton. So them two are trying to really high press, and he's plugging all the holes. And he done a lot of key interceptions, key pass. So it's a battling performance. And yeah, Aston Villa, they're a strange team, because every time they go down, I feel like the only way back into the game is by becoming more physical and more aggressive. And some of the tackles were like, the referee was very lenient. He's letting away with some ridiculous tackles, but Aston Villa are really physical, really aggressive. And I don't know, but every change Gerrard made actually made Aston Villa worse, and they lost momentum because of it. He changed the system, the personnel, and they were actually worse for it. Up until that point, they're starting to build up a bit of steam. So a bit confused tactics. And yeah, they actually didn't really look like they're going to get a goal. They didn't really create any chances, any real pressure, consistent pressure. But in terms of character, for Newcastle, excellent. Everybody put a shift in, put their body on the line.
But that's why it seemed like
Burns was excellent.
Burns was good as well, yeah. That's why it seemed like he's changing. Like the last 2-3 games, it seems like there's a real unity and a build and energy, positive energy going towards this charge, really, and it's helping them on the pitch.
Even Dubravka. Yeah. He's coming out of his line and he's commanding that whole box. He's picking things up, grabbing things.
He was actually they were trying to do a trade deal with United, and yeah, he actually rejected to go.
Yeah. But look at his reaction.
Yeah.
Look at his reaction to that. He's giving the team confidence with the way he's commanding that area. He's coming out, he's grabbing the ball. He's taking the pressure off the defenders. So yeah, they've got momentum, innit? They've got momentum. You can see them potentially moving clear.
4 points clear. They're 4 points clear now. They played a game less than Norwich. So all looking good.
I think they'll end up going towards that midfield spot.
Yeah. Do you reckon the 3 at the bottom now will be the 3 that go down, as in Burnley, Watford, Norwich?
Yeah, they're the 3 that predicted at the start of the season. So
yeah, The other team in the mix, Everton, 3-0 win at home against Leeds.
Yeah, I don't see it as they're really in the mix. I mean, there's there's a gap there, and you can
I
see
mean, they're 1 point ahead of Newcastle.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure they got games in hand too. But the performance that was probably the most dominant performance of the weekend. Oh, one of the most dominant. The other one I think is will come to the end is Brighton, Watford. I mean, but yeah, Everton were just from the first minute on the front foot. The football they played, much like the last home game, they played with so much confidence. The overloads, the running, the options. You can see everyone just wants the ball, and you can't believe how different it was compared to Benitez last year. It's unbelievable how much confidence, and they found themselves a new deep line playmaker in Donny van de Beek, who was dictating the whole game.
I was waiting for you to say something.
Ball from defense and spraying it about everywhere, and it's like,
are you just trying to pressure up the price a bit as well? Yeah, to get off Everton. Yeah.
Everton always play over the odds. You don't need to pressure.
In terms of Leeds, I mean, do you reckon there's a chance they could get into this relegation fight? Because I mean, they're on 23 points. They're not too far off in there.
The thing is, last year I thought it was the same thing where there were teams that proper got away with it. Like Burnley was one of them.
Yeah.
There were quite a few teams who were actually poor in the whole second half of the season, like Leeds were, Burnley were, but because the three teams below were just not picking up enough points, they never ever really felt the pressure of the poor results. And I feel like the same thing is going to happen this year again, where there's a few teams like Leeds who are inconsistent, struggling, but they're kind of going to get away with it because the three teams below them just ain't got enough points, ain't got enough quality to get the points to really make it a fight. And that's the thing. If it was tighter, then you start wondering, the nerves could get in the way, and it becomes the pressure of the situation. It's a different proposition, but I felt the same thing last year. Like, I felt like Burnley could have gone down last year if they were under pressure. They struggled the whole second half of the season, but it never felt like they were actually in a relegation scrap. They just always had a 3-point buffer.
Yeah.
4-point buffer. Yeah. The teams below them, you just never had the confidence of them making a run for it.
Or close that gap. Yeah. Because I mean, if they start closing that gap, then you can start feeling the heat, and anything could happen.
Yeah, and you can't see it. You just can't see those teams really
putting a string of four game win or anything. Yeah.
But if you look at what Newcastle has just done, Everton won 2 of the last 3. Southampton's on a run. Brighton's continuing to pick up points. Other than Leeds, which on their day they can still pull out results. They hit the bar twice with Rodrigo. Could have been different.
Them strikes.
One of them gets in, the beliefs there, but they'll always pick up points. Leeds. So what those teams have done. Are Norwich, Watford, and Burnley able to do that? Are they able to win 3-4 games on the bounce? I don't think they can, because they have to beat those teams, and those teams are just got better players are on a run. Even if they were all 3 of them were to play Leeds, who would you go for?
Yeah,
but Leeds would come out on top.
Wouldn't you think Watford would give them a good run, considering their front 3 and how fragile Leeds' backline is?
I'm not saying they can't win, but which team is the better team? Which team most likely is still going to be clearly Leeds. So I just think, as much as those teams are going to keep going, and they'll pick up wins here and there. It's having to win 2-3 games because there's a gap now to really make it a contest. That's where the real problem is for those teams, and they're all improving. I mean, they're going to have better second halves than the first half of the season. You can see they're all improve, but are they able to,
Is it enough
win
of a
enough games?
yeah?
I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of draws and not enough
Yeah.
wins.
In terms of another team, Watford versus Brighton, 2-0. It seemed like a comfortable win for Brighton.
Well, that first half was totally dominant as well. Like I was saying, like Everton really dominated Leeds. Brighton were just hot from the first minute. The system, I mean, I really like they kind of played a 3-4-1-2 system, and yeah, I mean they really did a number on Watford. They really dominated the game, and even though Watford had that chance when they hit the bar, that's all they had really was the odd times when because the space was out wide, and because the Lamptey and Cucurella would play so high up. But that tells you everything. I mean, Brighton were happy to leave it 3-on-3. And they were happy. So when Rohan Dennis gets the ball on that left side and attacks you, he was the only one who had a threat. But he always felt like he's trying to get on his right foot.
Yeah.
And unlucky when he hit the bar. They needed that because it's 1-0 at time. That would have just given them a foothold. But outside of those, the few times they managed to get Rohan Dennis away and free, and one kind of ball over the top to Ismail Assar when he came on.
Oh yeah, towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really dominant performance from Brighton. And you do wonder what Brighton could do if they have a top striker. I mean, like if Brighton had Brojas, let's just say, or someone like that who could do a bit of everything. I'm not saying knocking Mopé because he's a good.
I mean,
good.
That was a great finish,
striker.
by the way.
That's an excellent finish. Yeah, excellent finish. But you just think if they were able to get a couple of real top quality players.
One thing about Brighton, they do this on the slide. They sign so many young up and coming players, and it's like people don't realize, and then they slowly, like the following year, they feed them in, and people don't realize how good they are, and it's just really smart the way they're doing it.
Yeah, their scouting is excellent. They're picking up top talent, and they got a manager who's gonna build their confidence, build them into the team, and they're gonna do well. But they're building a strong squad, and yeah.
I mean, it showed
they add a bit more pace.
They dropped Bissouma. They drop. I think what's the other guys that I forgot his name. The other midfielder.
Azati.
Yeah. With M, I think. I forgot his name now. It's gone out of my head. But they dropped both of them. Started with Lallana and thinking still.
Gross, yeah. And ultimately, they played 2 10s in midfield.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I thought that would have probably caused them issues because of how over attacking they're gone.
Yeah, well, I think Watford will do better under Hodgson. They look more solid. Definitely look better off the ball.
But against the Brighton team, do you think they kind of played it into their hands, considering Brighton's a team that likes to dominate, and Watford sitting back, it just allowed Brighton to push on more?
Yeah, because obviously Brighton are comfortable playing in possession football. That's nothing new for them.
Yeah.
And the problem was Watford weren't compact, as in Dennis.
I mean, they played with 4 midfielders in midfield. So.
Yeah, but the problem they have was they weren't playing it like a flat.
Yeah.
They're playing it like a more diamond. And yeah, it was too easy to get the ball to Lamptey. Lamptey was free every time he got the ball went out to him. Moda, the amount of times he was picking it up in the 10 because Lallana and Gross were keeping the ball comfortably. So then the midfield is pushing out. Cleverly is trying to come out to him. Is leaving Moda free in the 10 position. So, and then, Welbeck was occupying defenders, which if we look at the first goal, he occupies the defender, which allows Maupay to drop in and pick up and to do that volley. So, yeah, it's a really good performance from Brighton. Watford is, I think their system, they just couldn't understand how to counteract what Brighton were doing. And 3-4-1-2 is a formation really hard to systematically apply enough pressure
to nullify.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think we covered it all, I do. Pretty much. No one left. Good weekend of football though. I really enjoyed the matches this week. Really interesting matchups. Especially there was loads of games in between, like the top four, people going for the top four and stuff. So I was like very intrigued.
Yeah, I think since the Christmas break, the games have been end to end really good. I thought United, I don't think it was
a good game to
like
watch.
we expect, end to end.
Yeah.
Really good football.
Even the weekday games. I mean, where Tottenham played Southampton again, awesome game to watch. I think
if you watch Southampton, you're getting value for money because they're gonna concede and they're gonna attack. So you're gonna get value for money, and they're really brave. So
good, Adil. Thank you for your insight today. And those are watching.
Only interesting battle still going is for the top four.
Yeah, so, true.
I think the relegation bit's done, the title's done.
Oh, you think relegation's done? Yeah. So relegation's done.
I think so.
Do you know what the other interesting thing is? A lot of the top people going for the top four places, they're all playing each other as well. And that's what makes it even more fun because who's going to lose out the points and stuff.
Yeah, but also you got those who are kind of the pool of teams challenging for Europa spots is bigger now because you got Wolves, you got Aston Villa, Everton will come back into it. So you got those teams can also pick up points. You can tell they're not, Brighton. They're not teams that are just easy.
I mean, Brighton sitting ninth with 33 points, so they're not too far off anything.
Yes, I think there's gonna be a lot of teams dropping points. I think more and more you're gonna see inconsistent results. I mean, it's really basically just Liverpool and City just kind of standing out from the rest in terms of consistency.
I mean, Chelsea, they've been away, but I'm sure they'll come back and they'll continue their runs as well. So, by the way, Chelsea winning their World Club Championship. Well done to them and to Shell, their first one. So now they've won it all. I mean, Abramovich done it all. So honorary mention. He seemed very happy. Do you see him celebrating with the trophy on his hand?
Done it before some other established clubs in London. I think they're the first one in London.
Are you trying to have things now? Yeah.
No, just saying. Facts. We're talking facts, aren't we? I think they're the first one in London to do it. So hats off to them.
Hats off to them. No, definitely hats off to them. They did do it, so can't argue with that, can you? Cheeky one, I do. Remember. But thank you for watching, guys. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.